Welcome to my desk. My name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today I am taking a book bracket template that I found on Pinterest, and I'm going to use it along with my reading journal from 2025. As you can see, it's 2025. Okay. And we are going to try to figure out what is my best book of the year based on the way this template works and follows things out. So we have every month, January to December, you pick the best book, and then we put January and February against each other for the best book between those two, and then so forth, and we go through. I have an idea right now of what my best book of the year is, but I'm intrigued to see how this works out. And then I will tell you, does it agree with what I think my best book is or not? Now, there's going to be a couple stipulations about this. I am not going to include novellas on this list, I don't think. At this point in time, I don't plan on including novellas on this list. And I do not plan on including rereads on this list. I don't think that's fair to the new books because I already know I love those rereads, majority of them anyways. So let's go to January. Okay, so I have my January page, and on the back is all the books I read in January. So I read 14 books in January. My 5-star reads are A Cowboy Unmatched by Karen Witemeyer, which is a novella in the Archer Brothers series. Then I have The Edge of Longing by Amanda Cox. Then Came You by Becky Wade, which is a novella, is the prequel to the Bradford Sisters series. And I have Yours Cheerfully by A.J. Pierce, which is book 2 in the Emmy Lake Chronicles series. It is historical fiction set in England around World War II. And automatically, when I look at this list, the top book is The Edge of Longing by Amanda Cox. It is the one that I can tell you the most details about, that it has stuck with me so much. This is a dual timeline set 20-ish years apart from each other, I want to say. So that is definitely book number 1 for January. Okay, then we go into February. Okay, so February, I read 11 books. My 5-star reads were... My one 5-star read was Dawn's Light by Terry Blackstock, which is book 4 of the Restoration series. So it's the only 5-star read. It is definitely going in. Okay, then we go into March. March, I read 15 books. And, this is going to be a difficult one. Okay, so first book is One Wrong Move by Dani Petrie, which is a romantic suspense. It's book 1 of the Jeopardy Falls series. Then we have Never Fall Again by Laneige Blackburn, which is book 1 of the Gossamer Falls series. It is also romantic suspense. And those are the only 2 5-stars for the month. Off the top of my head, I think it is going to be One Wrong Move by Dani Petrie. Yes. Yeah, that is what it's going to be. I just was so intrigued and hooked on this story that I could not wait for book 2. Okay, we go to April. April, I read 15 books. And this is going to be another tricky month. So I have A Life Once Dreamed by Rachel Fordham, which is a historical fiction. We have Sunrise Reef by Irene Hannon, which is a contemporary romance. It is book 11 of the Hope Harbor series. Then we have Smokescreen by Terry Blackstock. That is a suspense, but that one is a reread. And we have All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley, which is a dual timeline historical for World War II and the Vietnam War, and filled with letters. Oh boy. I loved that book, set in Tennessee. But I also loved Sunrise Reef by Irene Hannon. And I mean, Life Once Dreamed. I would say I enjoyed A Life Once Dreamed. I don't remember it as well. I remember some things kind of, yeah. I think it has to be All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley. This was the book that introduced me to Michelle Shockley, and I could not wait to read more by her, and I did read more by her. So yeah, that's definitely. So All We Thought We Knew. Okay, May. May, I read 14 books, and I have 3 5 stars, and they are A Lady in Attendance by Rachel Fordham. It's another historical fiction story. We have 2 Seconds Too Late by Danny Petrie. That is book 2 of the Jeopardy Falls series, and romantic suspense, and I read it as soon as it came out. I just had to buy a copy after reading book 1. And then we have Anne's House of Dreams by L.M. Montgomery, which is book 5 of the Anne of Green Gables series. But that one was a reread for me as well, even though I do not remember loving it the first time around. Interesting. Okay, so we have A Lady in Attendance and 2 Seconds Too Late. A Lady in Attendance is Hazel gets released from wow, I just lost the name of it. State Reformatory. I was like, what was it called? And she goes becomes an assistant for a dentist, and then a friend group forms, and and 2 Seconds Too Late picks up with characters from book 1. I think because I already have book 1 of the series on this list, I'm going to do A Lady in Attendance. And I think I can probably tell you more about Lady in Attendance than 2 Seconds Too Late. Only, I think. Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're going with June. So June, I read 12 books. Oh, I didn't give a star rating to that book. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so that book's 4 stars. I need to color that in. Okay, my 5-star reads are... Oh, well, that's easy. I have 1. With You Always by Jody Hedlund. This is book 1 in the Orphan Train series. Historical fiction following 3 siblings, and mainly the oldest sibling trying to provide for the youngers. Yeah, I really enjoyed that book. Okay, we move on to July. July was another 15-book month. But I only have 1 5-star, and that is The Dreams We Knew by Rachel Scott McDaniel, which is also a historical fiction set in the 1920s in New York. Kind of a mystery along with personal relationships. And yeah, kind of a second chance relationship. I really enjoyed that one. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. Okay, August. August, I read 14 books. This was interesting. This was the Keep Me in Suspense readathon month, but I do not have that many suspense books that are 5 stars. I have 2 5 stars in this month. One is True to You by Becky Wade, which is book 1 of the Bradford Sisters series. It's a contemporary romance, but it is also a reread, so I'm not putting that on this list. Then we have Out of Time by Irene Hannon, which is book 3 of her Undaunted Courage series, I think it's called. I had an advanced reader copy. The book actually released in October, and I gave it 5 stars. I remember absolutely loving it as I was reading it. But again, I can't tell you a ton about it from memory. It's about a jewel and arriving at a kind of a mansion, getting to know an older lady, arriving, and the police are already there, like what's going on. I remember that part about it, but I don't remember like the last quarter of the book, I would say. It is definitely a book I want to reread. But it's the only 5-star. It's going on the list out of time. Okay, September. Now, September was my lowest reading month because we were on vacation in September, so I didn't read a ton. But I do have 2 5-stars, and again, this is going to be easy to figure out. We've got Anchor in the Storm by Sarah Sundin, which is book 2 of the Waves of Freedom series. It is, yes, okay. I have my favorite books sitting off to the side. You can't see them, but they're over there. So I had to look at the spine to see what the series name was. Okay, so Anchor in the Storm by Sarah Sundin. The other 5-star read is The Isaac Project by Sarah Monzon, which was a contemporary romance, but it was a reread, so that's not counting. So again, it's easy. It's going to be Anchor in the Storm. This one is the one with the lady pharmacist who has a prosthetic leg. And it's historical. World War II. Okay, October. October, I read 14 books. And again, I have 1 5-star read. Wow. Okay, and that 5-star read is Between the Sound and Sea by Amanda Cox. This is contemporary with a little bit of historical. We're finding journal entries from a previous lighthouse keeper while they're restoring the lighthouse, and then they're trying to find out the actual story. Apparently I can't talk while I'm reading. Okay, so then we go into November. And November, I read 14 books, and the 5-star reads are Heart on the Line by Karen Wittemeyer, which is book 2 of the Ladies of Harper Station series. It is a historical romance set in Texas in the late 1800s. I loved it, but it was a reread, and I loved it the first time too. So then we have The Women of Oak Ridge by Michelle Shockley, which is set in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It is a dual timeline, 1944 and 1979. Loved it. We're learning about somebody who worked at the K-25 factory and then following her niece as she's discovering the story. Then we have Worth the Wait by Karen Wittemeyer, which is a novella in the Ladies of Harper Station series. So it is part of the series that Heart on the Line was part of. It's historical fiction set in Texas in the late 1800s. Because I'm not counting novellas and I'm not counting rereads, that leaves it with The Women of Oak Ridge by Michelle Shockley. Okay, then we go into December. And December, I read 11 books. And the 2 5-star reads I had was The Wish Book Christmas by Lynn Austin. This is book 2 in the If I Were You series by Lynn Austin. It is historical fiction set in the 1950s. We're following the 2 ladies from the initial series, but their sons, well, they're trying to teach their sons the true meaning of Christmas. Then we have The Christmas Bargain by Shanna Hatfield, which is historical fiction set in Oregon. It's a marriage of convenience story that I absolutely love, but it is a reread. This was my 5th time reading it. So that makes it The Wish Book Christmas by Lynn Austin is the final selection. Okay, now we move on to the next round. So between January and February, we've got The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox for January, and February is Dawn's Light by Terry Blackstock. Between those two, I can tell you more about The Edge of Belonging. That is definitely the one that has stuck with me. As much as I was intrigued by Dawn's Light, but yeah. Okay. Then we've got, for March, we have One Wrong Move. And in April, we have All We Thought We Knew. So One Wrong Move is Danny Petrie, and All We Thought We Knew is Michelle Shockley. Between those two, wow, I was invested in both of them. Fully invested, couldn't wait. They both led me to wanting to read more. Like, One Wrong Move, I wanted to read book number 2 that hadn't been released yet. And All We Thought We Knew is I had to read more by this author, and I picked up more by her. We've got contemporary timeline, and we've got historical timeline. Oh, this is a tricky one. Again, I think I can tell you more about All We Thought We Knew. And I'm already scared that those two are going against each other. All We Thought We Knew is also the book that won the Christie Award for 2025. Okay, so we have, for me, we have A Lady in Attendance by Rachel Fordham. And June is With You Always by Jody Headland. Both historical fiction. Both start out in New York. With You Always moves out west. Ooh. Love the friendships that form. I think I'm going With You Always. Because again, it's a book 1 of a series. A Lady in Attendance is a standalone. And With You Always, I had to binge the rest of the series to know what was going to happen. So, yeah. This is difficult. Okay. We've got July, we have The Dreams We Knew by Rachel Scott McDaniel. And for August, we have Out of Time by Irene Hannon. One is a historical fiction with second chance romance, maybe a little bit of a forced proximity, I would say. Not a little bit. There is forced proximity. I was going to say something else, but I don't want to give it away. Then we have Out of Time, which is a suspense. It's a book 3 in a series, is concluding the series. But I was so invested in it. Oh my gosh. I love historical, but I love suspense that keeps me guessing and on the edge of my seat. And all these other books have been historical. Do I throw it off and put in? Oh, I think it's easy to say my favorite book is going to be historical. Is my taste changing? Are my tastes changing? Again, which one could I tell you more about off the top of my head? I said I didn't really remember a ton of Out of Time, but the more I think about it, the more I do remember of it. But The Dreams We Knew. Yeah, The Dreams We Knew. Sorry, suspense. Okay, then September and October. So September we have Anchor in the Storm by Sarah Sundin, which is book 2 of the Waves of Freedom series, set in Boston, historical fiction around World War II, or during World War II. Then October we have Between the Sound and Sea by Amanda Cox. Contemporary with a bit of historical in it, finding journal entries. As much as I loved Between the Sound and Sea, I think it's got to be Anchor in the Storm. I love the way the characters grew in that story and overcame the challenges that were facing them. Okay, and the last one is The Women of Oakridge by Michelle Shockley for November, and December is The Wish Book Christmas by Lynn Austin. This is more of a shorter book, really focused around Christmas with the kids, learning the true meaning of Christmas. Like, I really enjoyed it, but The Women of Oakridge just, I think it has more of a special place in my heart. I remember more about the story. And I think if I didn't even have the tie to Oak Ridge, because we visited Oak Ridge, I bought the book in Oak Ridge, we saw the museum, that's my tie. Like, it's not a historical tie. It's one time visit in September. But I think that's the one. I loved the way the story was revealed and the family coming together in the end. Okay, so we have our top 6, and surprise, surprise, they're all historical fiction. Okay, now, this is where it really becomes, if that round wasn't challenging enough, this next round's going to be challenging. So we have The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox going up against All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley. Both of them I absolutely loved and couldn't wait to read more by the authors. One was the one that introduced me to the author. The other one, I'd already had a favorite by her. I just wanted to read more. The one made me cry. The other one did not make me cry, but I still really enjoyed it. It should have made me cry now that I think about one scene. But did I? I don't think I did. So it's going to be The Edge of Belonging because it made me cry. It made me emotional, even though I knew what was going to happen. Because it had already been revealed earlier in the book. Okay. Then, going up against each other, we have With You Always by Jody Headland and The Dreams We Knew by Rachel Scott McDaniel. So we have the book 1 of the Orphan Train series, Leaving New York, Heading Out West, and The Dreams We Knew, set in New York. Wow, I must have read a lot of New York settings. Set in New York in the 1920s. It's got mystery, it's got romance, oh my gosh, it's got so much. I loved With You Always. I was so invested in the story and the characters, but it doesn't all wrap up in book 1. I had to complete the series, and I binged this series. So I'm going with The Dreams We Knew. Okay, then we have Anchor in the Storm by Sarah Sundin, which is book 2 of the Waves of Freedom series, World War II set in Boston. And we have The Women of Oak Ridge by Michelle Shockley, 1944-1979. I think between those two, as much as... I think it's going to be Anchor in the Storm. Yes, I think so. Just, again, because the way the characters overcame challenges. Okay. So we have our top 3. Our top 3 are The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox, The Dreams We Knew by The Dreams We Knew by Rachel Scott McDaniel, and Anchor in the Storm by Sarah Sundin. Okay. So The Edge of Belonging versus The Dreams We Knew. You tell me. What am I going to put? I know what I'm going to put. It has been my top book all year. And I cannot stop thinking about it, and I really want to reread it. That is The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. I read this. This was the 5th book I read this year. And I just, yeah. Okay, then we have The Dreams We Knew versus Anchor in the Storm. The Dreams We Knew versus Anchor in the Storm. Anchor in the Storm, the way they get over or move forward, use their disabilities against them. Learn to not use their disabilities against them. That wasn't right. Yeah, Anchor in the Storm. It just has to be. And when I take The Anchor in the Storm versus The Edge of Belonging, my top book is The Edge of Belonging. I didn't even have to do this to know. That book is The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. Oh my gosh, this is such a good book. So my little note inside says, I loved each of these characters. I was so invested that I cried, even though I knew how things worked out. Yep, favorite book of the year, totally. But I mean, these other ones, top contenders. So you tell me, have you read The Edge of Belonging? And if you haven't, please add it to your TBR for this year. And if you've already read it, tell me, what is your favorite book of 2025? I would love to chat in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!